we're at a really cool hostel now in Chengdu, which is sort of like the last resting point before you go on your way to Tibet. So there's a lot of people here that are looking to go to Tibet, and Kevin and I were quite keen on it, but I don't think we have the time to or the money on this trip. So we're trying to get some info, and maybe next time around we'll do it. Yeah, so tonight we're going out to see a Sichuanese opera, which is looking like it's gonna be pretty cool. And tomorrow we're gonna go see some pandas, and yeah, hoping to try some of the local cuisine, maybe learn how to do a bit of cooking here, and just, yeah, enjoying it.
Which is really cool performance. I don't know if it was really an opera, but it was several like different performances all kind of mashed together. Some of them were more musical, some of them were more about dance. One was more of a comedy routine. We couldn't really understand what they were saying, obviously, but it was pretty funny. It was slapstick and kind of clowny, so it was cool, but it was really impressive overall. It was a good show, and just, you know, very brilliant and kind of outlandish, really like passionate performing and lots of bright colors and all that good stuff. It was definitely a feast for the senses. That was a stupid thing to say, but it was cool. I enjoyed it, honestly. One of the things that you have to do in Sichuan province, of course, is go to the panda reserve.
Stop banging your foot on the ground.
Sorry, did I do that a few times?
Yeah, like 9 times.
Sorry, shit. It's a
mission at this stage to do this.
It is. I'm trying to make it more interesting.
By slapping your foot on the ground?
Yeah, for emphasis.
We're gonna get a noise complaint in a minute.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
What were we talking about?
Panders.
Pandas. Reserve. I think it's the only like panda sanctuary in all of China. And they have little baby pandas and like adolescent pandas and fully grown pandas. And I think they're there for some of them for rehabilitation and some for breeding purposes. But they have kind of open pens, and you can just walk by and watch them do whatever. They're pretty entertaining. They're really cute, obviously. And just when it was done eating, kind of in the same motion, like put down the bamboo and like rolled over and went to sleep. Yeah. Probably my favorite part was watching them be fed apple pieces by the attendants. And they were right at the edge of the pen, climbing all over each other, trying to get the apple pieces before another one could get it. But they're so clumsy and so slow. They're just falling all over each other, and it was really pretty funny. The following day, we headed out of Chengdu to a smaller town called Lushan. We're in Lushan, and we're on our way to see a giant Buddha. It's so big, apparently you could have a picnic on its toenail, according to the Roman plan. It was kind of cool. It was a little more rural than I think any place we had been so far. It was right at the confluence of these two really big rivers, and yeah, it made for a little bit different scenery. It just seemed more wild. The giant Buddha, if I remember right, is a 71-meter tall stone statue that's carved into the side of a mountain. I thought it would be bigger. You can go up to it and approach it from the side and then climb down the side of the mountain and walk in front of it. You can also see it from a boat from the river, which passes right in front of the statue. It's quite an impressive sight. It's very tall. It's very red as well. I'm not really sure why, but it was cool. Second to Tiananmen Square is probably the most crowded site that we went to in China, but it was worth seeing. It was cool. And of course, we tricked the people into accepting our alien registration cards as student IDs and got a 50% discount on the admission fee. So, you know, made it all worthwhile. It was a good time.
Because we had no money.
Yeah, I guess important to note is that we sought the discount because we actually didn't have enough money to get in otherwise. I think we had enough money to get in, but then we would have been stuck in Lushan afterwards had we spent the last of our cash to get in there. So it was a good choice. I'm glad it worked out that way.
After we saw the giant Buddha, we went back to the hostel and just chilled out, killed a day going around the city, walking around the city. The following day, we got some bikes from our hostel, which we rented and drove around. We were super lucky because, I mean, they were 1 speeds. It was pretty cool. But the city was flat as a pancake, and we were just cruising all the way around it. We went to this really cool park that was home to an abandoned theme park, which is really creepy, really cool at the same time. So Kevin and I have just entered the Ride from Hell, and we are the only 2 people we're gonna do this. on a giant sea boat. This sounds terrifying. Kevin's going into the bushes. So am I. Ni hao. Holy shit! Whoa, where's Our Lady going? We have no more. Try and figure this one out, stupid of Westerners. We literally have no lady. The box is empty.
So we killed one day just hanging out at the hostel, playing ping pong and drinking beers as you would, waiting for our train that evening to take us for 30 long hours back to Beijing, only to get on a plane back to Seoul the very next day. So that was pretty uneventful, I guess, until that evening when we went to the train station and had we made a faux pas.
Basically, Kevin and I just went to the train station after, you know, making some pretty awesome farewells to some pretty nice people that we met here. And we were just getting ready, getting all geared up for a nice 32 hour train trip back to Beijing. We were going to get there a day before we had to leave at like 5 in the morning and just hang out, relax, just sort of just cruise around Beijing, just see some of the stuff we hadn't seen before, and then, you know, the next morning go back to Korea. So we're at the train station tonight in Chengdu, and, you know, we looked at our tickets and we saw this big, huge fucking LED screens that had our ticket numbers on them, and they said this way. So we went and sat down in this massive waiting hall, and there was a huge line towards the gate with our ticket numbers on them, and we sat down and waited. And then we decided we were gonna move up nice and close to the gate and sat down and waited. And all of a sudden the gate number changed, or the gate number didn't change, but the number on the gate specifically changed. And we started, excuse me, hello, where's our, you know, they were showing people our tickets, and they were like, oh yeah, like your train is gone. Like, I just looked at Kevin and he looked at me after a few moments. We were just sort of like, oh God. Because like, what are we gonna do? You know, we thought our hostel was out of beds, and you know, we like, okay, well, now we had actually booked our tickets far enough in advance that we were, you know, going to be quite luxurious on ourselves and get some beds on the train for 32 hours or whatever. But so we go down to the booking office and they're like, oh, the next one's not till tomorrow night. So we just gained a day in the city that is okay. And luckily enough, they still had the sleepers, but that basically means that we're going to arrive in Beijing like 2.5 hours before our flight leaves back for Korea.
So, to make a long story short, we missed our train the first night. We never ended up seeing exactly when or where it boarded from. Never heard any announcements, well, that we could understand. And yeah, missed the train, which subsequently fell in a river. So I guess it's a bit of a mixed blessing that we happened to miss that particular train. So